Pleasure. Okay, got it. Re- All right, you ready to roll? Is it testing? Yeah, okay. All right, good. Are we good? All right, great. All right. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for this watershed event. I'm Randy Dykheis. I'm on the board of the Capped Area Friends of the Environment. Excuse me. It's those fall allergies, and I haven't talked nearly enough this morning or had nearly enough caffeine. Uh, So Capped Area Friends of the Environment is a local Lansing environmental action group, and we are a proud member of the Water Equals Life Coalition. And I'm happy to be here for the introduction of this Affordable Water Now legislative package. The Water Equals Life Coalition thanks Representatives Devendorf, Arbit, Neely, Wagala, and Wilson for their leadership with this introduction. This package will meet the basic needs of low-income residents by tying water rates to household incomes, assuring families that their water bills will not spike when temporary or unstable funding sources dry up, and providing more stable revenue to utilities for maintenance, operations, and upgrades. Truly a win-win legislative package. On behalf of the Well Coalition and the countless Michiganders quietly struggling to afford their water bills, we thank these leaders for their unwavering commitment to ensuring every Michigander has safe, affordable water in every tap, with no exceptions.
Thank you, Randy. I'm State Representative Emily Devendorf, and I represent Michigan's 77th House District. What a perfect time in the world and history to be introducing water affordability legislation, because we know how hard it is for our neighbors to meet their basic needs right now. Thank you so much for being here for this important moment. Water is a building block of our state, from the Great Lakes to, as was mentioned, your tap water at home. One of our other sponsors is here as well. And I would like to welcome Representative Cynthia Neely and Representative Veronica Pies. Water, the need for affordable water is undeniable. I always say that if a human needs it, we need to find a way to get that thing to that human. And humans need a few very basic core things: shelter, heat, food, water. We absolutely need water for so much, and in Michigan, we know that better than just about anywhere else in the state. As a state that is surrounded by the vast majority of the fresh water available in this whole country, but also as a state that has learned the hard way through the Flint water crisis what water for hygiene and water for sustenance means to our health and our ability to raise healthy kids, to stay alive. We're here today because each of us recognizes one simple truth: that water is not a luxury. It is a human necessity. Every person deserves to have access to clean and safe water, and that is what we're fighting for. And yet studies have shown that since 1980 and adjusted for inflation, average annual water bills have roughly doubled statewide for Michiganders, despite being surrounded by most of the fresh water. In urban areas, prices are even higher. I know that my community in Lansing experiences this deeply. There is no reason for water to be this expensive, and it most certainly should not be. That is why our Affordable Water Now package addresses these rising costs and stands up for some of the most vulnerable in our communities. My bill in the package would prohibit shutoffs for vulnerable households and mandate that providers give households both clear notice of shutoffs and payment plan options. This is essential to ensure people don't lose access to clean water simply for failing to pay a bill on time. We need a more transparent billing process, and Michiganders should be able to see clear payment plans from their water provider. Why is it that we are shutting off anyone's water? Shutting off water service to a household is not only cruel, it is also dangerous. It endangers the health and well-being of everyone in that household. Shutoffs literally put profit over people, and that is unacceptable. We need a system that prioritizes people's health. When families can't afford to keep the water on, that negatively impacts everything in their life. Their ability to hold a job, or bathe properly, wash their hands, and of course, stay hydrated. Affordable water is not just about costs, it's about public health. When we ensure everyone can afford water, we improve the health of entire neighborhoods. This package is about treating everyone with dignity and with respect. It provides the guardrails Michigan residents need to protect them from unjust shutoffs, ensure transparency, and make water service affordable and reliable for everyone. Thank you, and with that, I'll turn it over to our partner in the work, Christy Meyer.
Thank you so much. And I'd really like to thank you, Representative Dievendorf, for championing the Affordable Water Now legislative package and for acknowledging the importance of providing every family with affordable water in this moment. I must also thank and commend the bill sponsors, Representatives Arbet, Neely, Weglia, and Wilson, for their courage in standing with Michiganders and advocating for every family to have safe, affordable water in their taps. Thank you. The Affordable Water Now package will create a win-win. A win for low-income residents who can keep water flowing in their homes, and a win for local water utilities who will have a more stable revenue as a result of more people being able to afford their water bills. Because we know that when households have a water bill they can afford, they are far more likely to keep paying. The Affordable Water Now package offers utilities and municipalities the flexibility to determine how best to pay for the program within their own community. They could save money by stopping the practice of shutting off water and turning it back on, reducing costs and notices and sending bills to collections. They could implement a small one-time rate increase, as water utilities often do for various reasons. It's important that we establish steady and stable income for water utilities that is not tied to fluctuating funding sources. With an affordable bill, families will be able to pay their monthly water bill, providing utilities and municipalities with steady and stable revenue they previously were unable to collect. A similar program generated nearly $5 million in Philadelphia that they weren't previously able to collect as a result of unaffordable water bills and people just not paying. This program will also keep funds local. Any funds from local increases to pay for the program will benefit and be spent within that local community. The time is now. We know the basic cost of living continues to rise. We must address this crisis immediately. We know this can be done as we just saw Lansing lawmakers come together to tackle the road infrastructure issue. Thank you. So now I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Monica Lewis-Patrick.
Good morning. Peace and blessings, everyone. I'm Monica Lewis-Patrick, and I'm a proud member of the Well Coalition. I would like to join with all of my colleagues and advocates to say thank you to Representative Emily Dievendorf, to Representative Noah Albert, Cynthia Neely, Dylan Wegela, and Jimmy Wilson. Thank you so much for your leadership. We appreciate your courage and your leadership as sponsors of the Affordable Water Now legislative package. Your commitment to true water affordability and to the protection of health and dignity of every Michigander represents the kind of moral leadership our state needs as we face an ever-increasing cost of water. The Water Affordability Now package goes beyond short-term assistance for those struggling to pay their water bills, because we know assistance programs, no matter how well-intentioned, have limits. We cannot be deceived by assistance programs posing as affordability, as we've unfortunately seen with the Lifeline program in Detroit, my beloved Detroit. When water assistance programs rely on unstable funding streams, the money often runs out, which leaves our most vulnerable residents right back where they started, struggling to pay unaffordable bills and facing the threat of a shutoff. Representative Devendorf's Affordable Water Now package provides a real solution to the water affordability problem. Tying water rates to household incomes ensures lasting affordability without depending on temporary or certain funding sources. Based on research commissioned by the Water Equals Life Coalition with Moonshot Mission, we know that most Michigan communities can implement an income-based affordability model that keeps water on for families and maintains steady revenue for water systems. We also know that when households pay what they can truly afford, they keep paying. That means water stays on, revenue remains stable, and utilities avoid the double cost of lost income and costly shutoffs. This model strengthens our water systems, it improves public health, and it improves living conditions across the state. Michigan has the opportunity to lead the nation in ensuring affordable water now. I stand with Representative Devendorf, Representative Neely, Representative Waglia, and Representative Wilson and Representative Arbit and the Well Coalition in supporting the Affordable Water Now legislative package. Let's make that happen.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Latressa Gordon. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I'm not here to tell you about statistics. I'm here to tell you about my lived experience. I am a mother of 4. I found myself divorced. I come from Flint, Michigan. I had to move back from San Antonio, Texas. 4 children, at the time working as an LPN, trying to make ends meet. And one thing that you could let go by was the water bill and pay the other bill. So I had to pay this bill. I had to buy groceries. The kids need this. So one day I remember coming home. I had 4 small children, and my mom was watching them. They said, "Mom, we have no water." I'm like, "What? We have no water?" And I remember calling, "Your water has been turned off because you have your bill." And I looked, and the bill was so high because that bill was able to go because, the other bills you would have a turn-off notice. But I remember having to, call family members and also having to get water from the neighbor's house to flush the toilet. So these are real things that happen when water is shut off. So I'm here to support this bill because this is real-time family, not just statistics or profit. This is about supporting life. If you don't have water, that's essential for life. You have public health issues, infection disease, just if you don't have water, you can't wash your clothes, you can't wash your face, you can't eat. And to see my small children faces looking at me, and I felt like a failure because I couldn't pay my water bill. And I don't want anyone, any mother, any family to go through this. So support this bill, and I thank Representative Devendorf for this right here. But I can go on with the statistics because I'm good at that. But I'm just here to just cut it to you from the real right now that it's impacting our health, is impacting our communities. And I'm saying, I'm from Flint, Michigan. We have the water crisis. And I think Representative Neely and Mayor Sheldon Neely also, work hard to get those things impacted. But, this is real life. Families are in our communities that cannot afford their water. So you have between medicine, you have between your kids, food, and sometimes, like I said, the water bill might be the last thing to get cut off, but it will get shut off. And then also you can work, liens can be put on your house. So if you need to sell your property, now you have a lien on your house because you couldn't afford your water bill. And so I was able to reach out to family and to veteran resources, but everyone does not have that access. And so I just want to thank this is just, awesome that this is being put forth. And that's all I have for you today. But like I said, this is real and it's impacting families. It impacted me and my 4 small children. I actually brought my daughter and I asked her, I said, "Do you remember when our water got shut off?" And she said, "Mommy, yes." I was about 7 or 8. And I still cried again that day because I felt like a failure that day to my family. And coming from the Army, a veteran, to serve my country, and to come home and my water was shut off. So thank you so much for supporting this and putting this forward. So.
So, good morning. My name is Jill Ryan. I am the Executive Director of Freshwater Future and a founding member of the Water Equals Life Coalition. And I'm really here today to talk a little bit about my friends and family and acquaintances in northern Michigan. I lived in Petoskey and Indian River for 20 years, very rural up there, and people don't think of the water crises and water shutoffs as a rural problem. It is a rural problem. There are lots of people in Sheboygan County, in Emmett County, who just simply cannot afford their water. And those resort areas, I think a lot of us think of them as that. That's where we go to vacation up north. It's not just vacationers. There are people there to serve all of us when we go up for vacation. And those people have to live far from where they work because they can't afford to live locally. They have to find a way to afford all their bills. And right now, especially in the north, they just had this late spring ice storm. Now we've just heard the federal government is not going to help get those utilities back to where they need to be. And two of the utilities have already increased bills by 20%. 20% this year, and they're saying that's a first step. So if you're driving far, paying gas prices, you're barely making it, keeping your house going, and you have now a 20% increase in your electric bill. And in Petoskey, your electric bill and your water bill are tied. So the city provides both. If one goes down, the other goes down as well. So there's a lot of need in our rural communities, just as there are in our urban communities. This is not a this or them issue. This is a Michiganders issue. We all need to help figure out how do we, the Great Lakes state, make sure everybody has access to water. I also want to talk a little bit about the community of Pellston. Pellston is just about 20 minutes north of Petoskey, very small town, has the airport in the county. Well, that airport contaminated the wells of the community in Pellston. Very, very small town. Those folks now, their wells, they still have to maintain their well, but they also have to have filters. They're concerned about their showers because their filters are just for drinking. Lots of concern about this kind of contamination in rural areas where they don't yet have a system, but now they may have to also pay to have a system built because their wells are contaminated. So these sorts of rural issues happen over and over again, and I could talk a long time about those places, but it just shows how this really impacts all of us. And when it's no different if you can't use your well water and you don't have access to another source or a filter on that day, you also can't do your laundry, your cooking, your cleaning, take a shower if you're afraid of that water. So just really want to reiterate that our rural communities and our urban communities and everyone in between, we all need the water to be affordable for those in our communities who really need to be helped. There's a little bit of help we can do by tying these rates to the incomes of families, and that is a huge benefit. So thank you for your time. We really look forward to this package moving forward. Thank you.
Hello. I'm glad to be here today. My name is State Representative Cynthia Neely. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate Emily for putting this package together. It's something that I know we need in the city of Flint. We have definitely been through a water crisis. We know that water rates are steadily going up. Families are having such a hard time. And we are here to say enough is enough and that we need to push back on these water liens. We are finding that families are devastated when they put liens on their water. It's a hardship already to pay a water bill, but then you put a lien on it, top of that, which makes them losing their home. Now they're looking at foreclosure because of a simple water bill. We definitely have to do better. This is something that we need to push. I am definitely behind it. I know the city of Flint is behind it. The mayor is behind it. We're doing all we can in the city of Flint to make sure we cut off no water from any resident. So I am, again, happy to be here, happy to be in support of this bill, and glad that Emily asked me to be a part of this package. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. I also want to recognize that our esteemed caucus chair, Stephanie Young, is here as well. Thank you for being here, Stephanie. And you're always able to push me aside and take over the mic if you want. Okay. Um, so we wanted to open it up for some questions around this package and the need for it if you have them. And if not, we're just about done. The last thing that I'll say is that every once in a while I will acknowledge that this package is personal to me. It is personal to me. Prior to running for office, while I was running for office, I was struggling with poverty for many years. And I know what it is to have my electric cut off. I know what it is to have my water shut off. And I think one of the things that bothers me the most as we try to push hard for this necessary policy, and ones like it that really help our neighbors meet their basic needs, is that not one person in this state, from the most wealthy to our neighbors who are struggling the most, would be willing or would want to go without water and shelter and food because it's unfathomable. It's unjust and it's unfathomable that we would deny somebody their basic human necessities. But we somehow find a way to justify it or rationalize it when it is our poorest neighbors within our communities. And that just does not make any sense. But it's also hypocrisy. So that's my final note is to point that out. It's something that not one person would be willing to go without. And if our wealthiest neighbors had the prospect of their water being shut off, they sure as hell would fight to make sure that did not happen. And that is why we are here today.